If you're the surviving spouse of a veteran or service member, this video is specifically for you. One of the most underutilized benefits in the entire VA home loan program belongs to you, and far too many surviving spouses either don't know it exists or assume they don't qualify when they actually do. I'm going to walk you through exactly who qualifies, what the Dependency and Indemnification Compensation requirement is, and why it matters, and how to actually apply and get your certificate of eligibility so that you can use this benefit. The VA Home Loan Guarantee allows eligible borrowers to purchase a home with no down payment, no private mortgage insurance, competitive interest rates, and fewer closing costs than a conventional loan. These are the same benefits available to veterans and active duty service members, and they are fully available to eligible surviving spouses as well. Your entitlement as a surviving spouse is also completely independent from your spouse's entitlement. So if your spouse used their VA home loan benefit before they passed, that prior use does not reduce your entitlement at all. You start with your own full benefit. Before getting into surviving spouse eligibility, there's a quick first question worth asking. Did you serve in the military yourself? So if you have your own veteran status from your own military service, you should first try to qualify for the VA home loan as a veteran in your own right using VA Form 26-1880, the standard request for a certificate of eligibility. If that applies to you, this process is simpler than the surviving spouse path. If you don't have your own military service or you can't qualify as a veteran on your own, VA will determine whether you qualify as a surviving spouse, and that's what the rest of this video covers. To qualify for the VA home loan as a surviving spouse, VA must first determine that you are either eligible for or already receiving a qualifying dependency and indemnity compensation benefit referred to as the DIC. DIC is a tax-free monetary benefit provided to eligible survivors of veterans, but not all DIC awards qualify for VA home eligibility. The DIC must be awarded as primary, secondary, ancillary, or Chapter 38. DIC awarded under Sections 1318 or 1151 does not qualify, and VA pension does not qualify either. If you are already receiving DIC in one of the qualifying categories, you're in good shape, and we'll get to the application process shortly. If you're not currently receiving DIC, you'll need to apply for it first before you can establish VA home loan eligibility as a surviving spouse. To apply for DIC, submit VA Form 21-534 along with the following information: a copy of your spouse's DD-214, if you have it, a copy of your marriage license, a copy of the death certificate, or DD Form 1300, which is the report of casualty. The mailing address for your submission depends on your state of residence and goes to the appropriate Pension Management Center office. If you don't have your spouse's DD-214 or other military records, you can request them by submitting an SF-180, which is a request pertaining to military records, to the address on the back of the form or through the U.S. National Archives and Records Administration website. Any VA office can also assist you in obtaining proof of military service if you're not sure where to start. Once the DIC requirement is established, the next question is which eligibility scenario covers your situation. There are 4, and they cover a wider range of circumstances than most people expect. Scenario 1 is the most straightforward. You are an unmarried, surviving spouse of a veteran who either died while in service, whether active duty, reserve, or National Guard, or died from a service-connected disability. Scenario 2 covers situations where the veteran's death was not directly service-connected, but the veteran had a significant service-connected disability rating. You may qualify if the veteran was rated totally disabled, meaning 100% for a period of 10 or more years immediately before their death, or rated totally disabled for at least 5 years from the date of their discharge or release from active duty, or was a former prisoner of war who died after September 30th, 1999, and was rated totally disabled for at least 1 year immediately before death. This scenario is one that many surviving spouses don't know about. If your spouse had a long-standing total disability rating, even when the cause of death wasn't directly connected to their service, you may still qualify. Scenario 3 is specifically for spouses of service members who are currently missing in action or a prisoner of war for more than 90 days. If that's your situation, you are eligible for the VA home loan benefit for as long as the service member remained in that status, and this is a one-time use benefit. Scenario 4 addresses remarriage, and this is where a lot of surviving spouses incorrectly assume that they've lost their eligibility. So if you remarried on or after December 16th of 2003 and you were at least 57 years old at the time of that remarriage, you still qualify. So 2 important notes here. If you remarried before December 16th of 2003, there was a deadline to apply that is now passed. 2 important notes here. If you remarried before December 16th of 2003, there was a deadline to apply that has now passed, so that path is now closed. And if a remarriage was later voided or annulled by the court, VA may still consider you an unremarried surviving spouse for eligibility purposes. So if that applies to your situation, it's worth asking the VA directly. Once you've confirmed that you meet a qualifying eligibility scenario and the DIC requirement is in place, the next step is applying for your certificate of eligibility, which is what tells a lender that you are eligible for the VA home loan benefit. The fastest way to get your COE is to work with a lender who has access to the VA's web LGY system, an online system that many lenders can use to pull your COE in a matter of seconds. Not every case can be processed this way, but it's always worth asking your lender first because it's significantly faster than applying by mail. If Web LGY doesn't work for your situation, you have 2 other options. You can provide your lender with a complete VA Form 26-1817, which is the request for determination of loan guarantee eligibility for unmarried surviving spouses, or mail that same completed form along with a copy of your spouse's DD-214 to the address listed on page 2 of the form. You can also apply online at va.gov using a DS logon or by creating an account through id.me. If you're not able to print forms at home, call the VA directly at 1-877-827-3702. Follow the prompts for eligibility, and the VA will mail the form to you. Most VA loan borrowers pay a funding fee, which is a percentage of the loan amount that keeps the program running. So if you're a surviving spouse who is receiving qualifying DIC, you are exempt from paying the VA funding fee entirely. That exemption applies as long as your DIC was awarded as primary, secondary, ancillary, or Chapter 38, the same categories that establish your home loan eligibility in the first place. That's a meaningful financial benefit on top of everything else, and it's worth knowing about it before you sit down with a lender so that there are no surprises. If you were listed on a VA-backed loan together with your spouse and want to refinance that loan after their passing, you can now do an interest rate reduction refinance loan, commonly called an IRRL, without needing to submit a new certificate of eligibility. The VA already has what it needs. If you were not on the original loan, you would need to qualify as a surviving spouse first, and your refinancing option in that case would be a cash-out refinance. Pulling it all together, here's the clear path forward for surviving spouses. First, check whether you have your own veteran status and try to qualify that way. If not, confirm whether you are receiving qualifying DIC or whether you need to apply for it using VA Form 21-534. Then identify which of the 4 eligibility scenarios applies to your situation. Once those pieces are in place, contact a lender and ask them to pull your certificate of eligibility through Web LGY, apply online at va.gov, or mail VA Form 26-1817. You can also call the VA at any point in this process at 1-877-827-3702. VA loan technicians are available to help answer questions, help you understand your eligibility, and guide you through whatever step you're on. This benefit exists because of the service that your family gave, and it's yours to use. If you're a surviving spouse and want to help understand where you stand or working through the application process, use the link below to book a call with my team and we'll walk through it together. If you want clear, reliable explanations of VA and mortgage programs and how they apply to real decisions, make sure to hit that subscribe button. My goal is to give you accurate information so you can make informed decisions with confidence and ultimately win with Wade. We'll see you next time.